Welcome to our little book report
thing.
We haven't really come up with a good name for it. I'm the dad, and this is my son.
Hello, I'm Son.
And we are reading Ice Wolves
Ice Wolves
by
Amie Kaufman.
And we've read some Amie Kaufman books before, and I really like her writing style. It's always full of action. And my son has actually read this book before once, but it's been a while, so he suggested we take this book and do a read-along. So
Not a read-along.
Not a read-along?
No. Maybe a read-along.
A reread.
No. A book review.
Book review.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way this is going to work, we're gonna read the first 3 chapters. We already read the first 3 chapters. We're going to talk about the first 3 chapters today, and then the next episode we'll do chapter 4 through 7, and so on until we're done. There's 22 total chapters, so it looks like 6 episodes total, and then we'll do a little summary at the end. But he tells me it's a great book, so far it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, one thing about this this thing is we will not have any spoilers. We're just going to talk about what's in the first 3 chapters today. So I don't want to know anything about chapters 4 through 19 through 22, whatever. So that'll be nice. You guys can read along and tune in after you get done with each chapter at your convenience. So no spoilers and no cussing either. It's going to be kid friendly.
I'm a kid after all.
Yeah. So what do you think about the cover art on the book?
Well, if you look here, there's a cool wolf on it, and
She's like in the
3
snow?
kids running toward the camera. I know kid on the left, probably Raina. Then
It's a girl.
yeah, and
In the center.
Anders, and some character we'll probably learn later on the right.
Let's see, the girl on the left has a brown outfit on with a scarf, like a reddish brown scarf, and the guy in the forefront has kind of a grayish blue outfit with a cloak, and so is the other kid. And they're running through snow. So yeah, and the illustrations are by Levante Zabo, I believe, and there's a cool map. If you turn the page. No page number, but it's a really cool map, really detailed, and it shows different towns and things. There's an island. It's all based on an island nation of Valen. Is that how you would say it, or Valen? Or Valen?
I don't know.
How did you say it in your head?
The V town.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, just.
I used to do that when I was a kid. I'd cheat.
Yeah, it's the.
I'll call it Valen.
Okay, Valen it is.
Vallen. Okay. So, chapter 1, we meet Raina, and we also meet Anders very shortly after. So Raina and Anders are twins. She's a girl and he's a boy, so they're not identical, obviously. They have dark brown skin, thick black hair. She has braided hair, and she's short and strong. And she kind of bosses her brother around, and she takes the lead whenever she can. But Anders is kind of her opposite. He's tall and gangly, and he has curly black hair also, but that's about all he has in common with her. He always does what his sister says, even sometimes when he knows she's wrong. Sometimes like she'll be leading him down the wrong path, and he knows it, but he just goes along with it because he doesn't want to argue. So they're orphans, right?
Yeah, they're orphans, and at the start of the book, they're just running through town, and it just starts out them running and him following her.
How do they make a living?
They make a living by just pickpocketing and just stealing stuff.
Yeah. There's actually a really cool part in here. I don't think it's in chapter 1, though. So they live in this... on Valen, this island nation. They live in a town called Holbard, Holbard. It's a walled city on the southeast part of the map, and so it's got a giant wall around it. and it's a big port, and so they have a lot of traffic going in and out through their ocean, and a lot of trade going on. And the roofs of all the houses are all pretty close together, and they have green roofs, so meadows basically on top of the houses with grass and flowers, and some of them even have herb gardens up there. And these orphans leave planks across the street so they can cross the streets, so they can get around their neighborhood just by jumping from house to house. And then if they need to cross the street, they have a board that they can just run right across over the street, and they don't have to get down. And that way none of the wolf guard bother them. They can get away from the wolf guard. We find out more about them in a second too. Oh yeah, they say that the wolf guards can actually turn into wolves. They're actually people, but they can transform into wolves, and they can smell you if you're nervous, or if you're worried about something. And if you're a pickpocket, you might be worried. So that's one reason why they stay away from those guys. And so they're running around up on the roofs, and they look across and they see this other kid named Jero, Jerro, and this kid has dark hair, dark eyes, but he has pasty white skin. So I don't know what the regional natives look like, but I think it's kind of a melting pot.
Kind of mixed. They come from all over to live there.
Because they all come in on boats, and
yeah.
So he's a dirty pickpocket. He's filthy, they say, and then he just kind of runs off. That's all we see of him. So the kids notice there's a puppet show going on down there, and at the puppet show they introduce us to the first artifact. It's an invention that can channel essence or magic. And artifacts are rare and expensive. And what do they have as an artifact at the puppet show? Do you remember?
Their artifact was...
self.
Oh yeah, the harmonica, self-playing harmonica, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they said it would probably cost more than the entire rest of the puppet show put together.
Yeah, that's right. So the puppet show, they watched a story of when the dragons attacked last. It was 10 years ago. And the Wolf Guard defended the city, and it had good special effects too.
Yeah.
And so that's when they introduced us to the concept of shape-shifting elementals. And what are the two shape-shifting elementals they talk about?
They said that in other lands there are other elementals, but the cool ones here were the scorched dragons and the ice wolves.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all they said about them. Then the kids went fishing for sausages. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they sat on the rooftop, and Raina threw down the fishing line over a merchant's shop, and she caught some sausages.
And then Anders gets talked in. His sister talks him into breaking into a house that has this window, like a bathroom window, open. So he lowers himself into the bathroom window, but it turns out it's a pantry. But as soon as he gets in, somehow the window slams shut and locks.
Typical.
This lock, you can't just unlock from the inside. For some reason, you have to have a key. So he's stuck.
And then, also, of course, he hears someone fumbling with the keys on the door to come in. So he's like, oh no. And he tries to hide.
Yeah, and he hears her talking out there about people, just complaining about her day. And she uses this word, Dama, D-A-M-A. Have you seen that a lot in there? I couldn't figure out if D-A-M-A meant a curse word. Like, she always put it before the guy's name. So I didn't know if it's a curse word or like a formal Mr. or, Sir.
Well, it can't be a curse word because we...
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We don't have curse words, so it must be a title. It must be a title. But they didn't explain it. She just said it. So anyway, this lady is rich, and he's trapped in the closet. So I knock at the door.
Knock at the door, and Raina comes selling Girl Scout cookies. Sausages.
That's right, sausages. And how's he get out of there? He just kind of...
And she talked her way into the house and was talking, and then Anders ran out the door, and she followed. And then she got mad at him for not stealing some food.
Oh, yeah. You should have grabbed some food while you're in the pantry. She got mad at him for that. Oh, and then, so then they go up on the roofs again. They run to their favorite place to hide out at night. There's this tavern that has a, what's it called? The Wily Wolf Tavern. And it's got a cool trap door that they can sneak in.
Yeah,
to the attic.
Passage they found.
Yeah.
The attic. And then he has this cat that Kess.
Kess the black cat. And that just likes to sleep with him.
Yeah. Keep warm.
One thing I wanted to read from the last page of the book was just when right after they get back, last page of chapter 1. Still, he had something to say. Still, he had to say something. "Thanks for coming to get me," he whispered. "Don't be silly," Raina whispered back. "What else was I going to do? We're a team." She wriggled one arm out from under the blanket to wrap it around him. "We'll always be together, Anders. We'll always take care of each other. I promise, right?" "I promise too," he said. Because of course it was true. But they settled down to sleep, and he lay there in the dark, waiting to drift away. He knew the truth. Raina would never need him like he needed her. I call that foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I could just tell. What do you think?
Yeah, so just a tight family.
Yeah. I thought that the first chapter had a lot of information just thrown at us, and we got introduced to the setting, the city, the main characters, the magic exists, and a little hint of artifacts and shape-shifting elementals, and so there's a whole lot to digest in that first chapter.
Yeah.
You ready for chapter 2, or do you want to take a little break?
Let's go on to chapter 2.
All right. So what do you think? Remember anything from chapter 2? It's about the Ulfair trial and testing.
So they have these trials every month where they take all the 12-year-olds who claim ancestry with wolves, the ice wolves, and they put them on this trial where they have this artifact staff that they touch, and then if they can transform, they do transform into ice wolves.
The staff kind of makes them transform.
Yeah, staff makes them transform. And so that's the prime time to pickpocket because everybody's looking up at the trial. And they can just sneak in.
Yeah, they're all distracted.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing for years, every month.
Yeah.
It happens every month.
Especially the foreigners. They're easy.
Yeah. They introduced another cool artifact called the Wind Guards. There are these big arches, kind of like the St. Louis Arch, that goes over the entrance to the bay.
And it keeps all the weather and wind.
Yeah, so whenever there's a storm out front, there's no wind, there's no choppy water, the bay is always calm. Don't know how they get their sailboats out of there. I just thought of that. But they're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see.
And then, so they're pickpocketing around, and then we're watching the trials, kind of. And then Anders gets caught trying to pickpocket while Raina is up front talking to the person.
Oh, trying to distract the person. Yeah.
And then he gets caught. Then Raina gets him out by saying they were both trying to get to the trial of the staff.
That's right. And this the Friar Stolf, Fyrstulf. The Friar Stolf is the leader of the Wolf Guard, and it happens to be a lady named Sigrid Turnson, and she's the one that holds the staff and holds the meeting.
Yeah.
She's in charge, and she's a pale woman, short, white blonde hair. She's lean. She wears a gray uniform. All of the Wolf Guard wear gray uniforms. And the staff is called the Staff of Hadda. It's a powerful artifact. And also she wears an amulet. All the Wolf Guards have an amulet for some reason. But they don't say anything about it. They just say they have one. you have to be a wolf guard to know what it does.
Yeah. So then Raina going first and Anders second go up to the trial of the staff. And Raina says,
I think we're on chapter 3 now.
oh yeah,
Yeah. No, chapter 3. Keep going.
chapter 3. Forgot, what was her nickname that she made up on the spot?
I wrote it down. Estrid Larson.
So she was Estrid Larson, and she lied about her ancestry so she could touch the staff.
And so they bring her up on the dais. D-I-A-S. It's a new vocabulary word. You know what dais means?
Yeah.
What?
It's like the main platform.
Like a stage?
Yeah, stage.
Okay. I was hoping you knew that. Because I didn't know it, man.
So then,
Oh, yes. That Sigrid did not really believe Estrid's story. Because she just made up a whole bunch of stuff on the spot. Like, oh, yeah, my grandma was a wolf and stuff.
yeah,
And she made up a name for grandma. She's like, I don't remember that name. I should have known her. And she said, well, she traveled a lot, and she, what was it?
she lived in the mountains.
And she was blind or deaf or something.
Yeah, she lives in the mountains. And she's like, but the scorched dragons live there. She lived low down in the mountains.
So the more skeptical she got, then Raina just panicked, so she grabbed the staff just to get it over with.
Mm-hmm. And then she keeled over and started to transform. And she transformed into a scorched dragon.
You should totally read. It's on page 40.
Yeah,
You want to read it?
you read it.
As Anders watched in horror, frozen to the spot, her arms and legs seemed to stretch out impossibly long. The arms of her coat stretched and split. The tearing noise of fabric lost beneath the screams of the crowd. The fabric shredded and vanished in seconds as Raina's body grew, doubling in size and tripling. Her neck lengthening, her mouth opened in a hoarse, unending scream. Crimson, bronze, and copper wove together into glittering scales as they snaked across her skin, and a heartbeat later, Raina was gone. In her place lay a scorched dragon, 15 feet long, sprawled on its back, claws raking through the air as it roared over the sound of the crowd. It scrambled, rolling onto its side and clambering to its feet, its wings spread wide, its tail lashing in a long arc. And then, of course, the ice guards, what do they do?
The ice wolf guards. They attacked Raina, and threw ice spears at her.
Now, I think I have my first beef with this book right here. It was super awesome how she turned into an ice dragon, or a scorched dragon. And then the wolf guards attack, but they kind of raise their paws up in the ground, they slam them down, and then spears shoot out their paws, like ice lances.
I think like they smack the ground, then from the water in the air, ice forms and launches at them.
Okay, that sounds a little better in my imagination. I thought they just kind of slammed their feet down, and ice like shot out magically. Either way, I think your idea, kind of like a Frozone on The Incredibles.
Yeah,
maybe.
Frozen.
That I could see. That would be cool.
They're like a bunch of Frozones.
Okay, I'm going to imagine that from now on. So it hits Raina, it hurts her, right?
Yeah, it hurts her. And
she torches some stuff and then flies off.
yeah. And then
Anders is thinking, I
Yeah.
got to help her. I got to turn her back. Maybe I can use this staff to turn her back.
no, Anders got stuck in the rubble, and then to kind of claw his way out, accidentally grabbed the staff.
And I think he went for it. I think he was trying to help his sister, it said. He was trying to turn her back. And then he paused. He's
Yeah,
like,
he thought.
what if I turn into a dragon too?
Yeah, he's like.
She's my twin. What if he thought, oh well.
And then, yeah. And then he grabbed it to try and help her.
Yeah.
Then he turned into an ice wolf.
Dun dun dun! Isn't that cool?
Yeah, so. Then.
And that's how it ends, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So any closing thoughts on that? I guess you've already read it, so
Eh,
I'm wondering what the whole twin thing is, how that's going to turn out. You know, one goes one way, one goes the other. Raina and him are Raina and Anders are opposites. You know, twin sides of the same coin. Maybe that's why one became a dragon, one became a ice wolf. One's a
Because-
leader, one's a follower.
Yeah.
Maybe they can solve this war thing.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. So,
Any other thoughts?
not really.
Um,
Just thinking.
yeah. So thanks for listening, and I'm the dad. You're the son. Pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
Tune in next time for chapters 4 through 7.